Good evening. This is Lab4, and I'm Jeff Morgan. I believe we are Team 3. My partner is Patricia Foley. I'm first going to go over the classification models and essentially what we did, or what I did for this portion. So in my portion, I did a simple um, CSV to um, libsvm format, which kept my labels in the first row, which made it very easy to do my um, lab stuff. Essentially, put in here. So you can see here I did it. It's a CSV to libsvim. It's a script, and it simply converts this into our data format that we need, which looks like so. So it has our first label column, and then it has each feature column after. And that's essentially the biggest portion of putting your data through a classification model is um, altering your data so it can be read correctly. So I'm just going to do a quick overview and show the code in action. So this is going to be our random forest. I'm doing a random 70-30 split for 70% training, and we'll do a 30% random fit for the machine learning. And that error means that my host name needs to get reset. So we're just going to hit that because it won't do anything. Sudo host. So being on a company computer, sometimes it automatically sets on an interval my host back to default. So I have to randomly set localhost, and it runs like so. And you can see here we get the 0.43, and I'm just going to write that down, and that's going to be in 10 trees in our random forest. So that's that 43% accuracy off of that first immunization column, which essentially, I forgot to tell you, I'm asking the question of how many happen per year, or if the next person essentially is getting their shot. Then we will do the naive Bayes theorem machine learning algorithm. And we're just going to run it on the normal 70-30. Now this one's really low, 0.22. And this is simply operating off the classification of a this given that. So especially with very limited rows of data, I think there's only 50 inputs in the data set that was given. So you're essentially going to be getting low numbers anyways. And just to show the decision tree running, I believe I have it set max categories 7 to fit. I'm running 70-30 here as well. I should only go 5 deep. Yep. So 5 depth, 25 node is what I set it on. Now this is actually going to change every single time because the tree prediction can change of how it's read. It's sort of because it's doing a random split on my data. I believe I have it set. Yeah, so I'm doing a random split. So what it's training on and what it's actually testing to fit the data against will change, but it stays relatively the same. And this is actually what is going to give you the best results is your decision, because you're normally going to get a higher accuracy rating over with a lower test error. All right, and then I just want to go over my partner's code. So she did the streaming, and Windows obviously had that problem with streaming. So What she went ahead and did is we went ahead and there is a stream listener, and using the Twitter's consumer key and secret, uh, just use their API with OAuth 2. This is what it looks like. OAuth 1 is used, I'm sorry. And this sets up the server to send the data across. So this is just a server, or the listener that's sending the data. So the listener part, which is the Spark streaming, the one we care about, is here. So you can see here that we're encoding it with UTF-8 application JSON through as a string, and we're splitting on each space, so each character, so it comes in, and that way we can still use the same streaming keywords for flat mapping each line into its own key. So here you see the words are mapping, each line is getting mapped to a word on a line and it's getting a key, and then we just reduce the keys if there are multiple words per line, and then that's getting split per character. So each character is essentially getting split of how it's reading it. So it's reading the stream in as, like, if it were to say hello, it would be H-E or H space L or H space E space L space L space O. And I'm currently on the Mac and trying to get this running through the stream server was having difficulty on mine, because this is actually this needs to be run on the Python 2.7 to work and compile correctly, because there are issues with the Twitter streaming on Python 3 and up. But we can also go ahead and see her portion running through the documentation. You can see what the output looks like through each word, and you can actually go ahead and should be able to see it in the wiki of what the streaming code looks like in action and getting that word count. And of course this will be available in the wiki. You can go through for both parts. That is going to be posted with this video. And that is it. I've tried to keep it short and sweet. I think it was under 5 minutes. But yeah, this course was great. Really helpful, and especially the introduction to the topics. I would highly recommend for other students coming in. Thank you, and if I don't see you again, have a great career, everyone.